We all love pulled pork, but this Asian version infuses the pork with a soy, garlic, gingery sauce. It is super soft and fork tender, just bursting with flavor. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Dude is behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. This pulled pork is amazing. You have to try it. It is so versatile. You can eat it with rice or stick it in a bun, put it in tacos or burritos. It's so different from other pulled pork recipes out there. We'll just get started by heating up our Instant Pot on saute mode and adjust it to high. Where's the adjust button? Here?
Got it.
High. All right, and that will just get a good sear on the meat, which adds a lot of flavor. But if you don't have time to sear your meat beforehand, just feel free to just throw everything into the pot and put the lid on and get started. But I have a little bit of time, so let's see. I have 3 pounds of pork shoulder that I've already cut up into 2-inch pieces. I had cut this ahead of time because it was in the freezer. And I like to freeze the meat all cut up so that if needed, I can always just throw the whole thing into my Instant Pot, frozen, and still get it cooked. I'm adding about a tablespoon of salt. Again, it sounds like a lot, but 1 teaspoon per pound of pork. We're just gonna mix that up a little bit. Once your pot says hot, add about a tablespoon of oil. I'm using vegetable oil just to get the pork going. You don't want to overcrowd it, so you might have to do this in a couple of batches. I'm putting it to the side because my pot has a curved bottom and all the oil seems to drift off to the side. You just want to sear it for 2 minutes on like 2 sides. You don't have to sear every single side. Just flip them over and just sear the other side. Meanwhile, you can cut up an onion. I'm just going to slice this into strips, into slices. Okay, once they're done searing on both sides, you can pull them out and get the next batch going. I have 2 ounces of ginger. It's about, I don't want to say it's a giant thumb size because, well, it's way more giant than that. You can use as little or as much ginger as you like. This will probably give me about 3 tablespoons of grated ginger. And if you're lazy, you don't want to grate it. I want the flavor, like I want the pieces of ginger in with my pork. But if you don't, you can just slice it up and throw it in there. So it just adds flavor and you can pick them out. You don't have to do what I'm doing here. I'm removing the last batch of pork.
That's a nice sear on it.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna throw in our onion. Just gonna cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes. And you'll see that it'll start to deglaze some of the bottom of the pot. That's where all the flavor is, right? Like all those brown bits. That's what's gonna make your pulled pork really yummy. Okay, almost done. I'm going to press my garlic through a garlic press. And I'm using about 6 cloves of garlic. I'm just adding it into the ginger because it's all going in at the same time. Okay, and adding the ginger and garlic. And we're just going to cook this for about 30 seconds. And I'm actually going to turn it off right now. The saute mode. Just until you start to smell the ginger and garlic. I'm using half a cup of chicken stock. And if you don't want to use chicken stock or chicken broth, you can just use water. And we're going to deglaze the bottom of the pot. And that just means scraping off all the brown bits at the bottom. You're going to make sure that all the brown bits are scraped up, because otherwise the pot will think things are burning at the bottom and it'll give you a burnt or overheat message. And you don't want that. Okay, adding the pork and all the juices that have accumulated. Oh my goodness, it smells so good already, even before it's all done.
Indeed.
Okay, adding a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. 2 tablespoons of Chinese cooking rice wine. And I usually use Shaoxing wine, but I'm just using this one today. It's not a big difference. Shaoxing wine has a different flavor. 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. It's a new bottle. And I'm using 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. The brown sugar is going to make it a bit sweet, just like what we find in like barbecue sauces. Okay, and that is plenty of liquid in there already to make sure that the pressure comes up. Okay, putting the lid on, locking it into place, making sure the sealing knob is on sealing, and we're going to pressure cook this on high pressure for 45 minutes. And that is it. Pretty simple. We'll see you in a bit. 6 years later and still freaking out over the knob. All right, taking off the sealing knob because it always drops on me. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. Come check it out.
Yum.
All right, so as you noticed, I quick released the pressure, and I'm going to take the pork out along with all the bits of onion and ginger. I'm just going to reduce the sauce a little bit, but I want to scoop out this oil or fat at the top. So I'm just going to skim all of this fat. I would use my skimmer, but there's too many bits floating around and they're going to just get caught in the skimmer. So
That's a lot of fat, dude.
yeah, fat is good for flavor, but you don't want
For your body.
You don't want to be eating all of that. So while I am pulling the pork, I'm just going to turn this on saute mode, adjust it to high. We're going to let the sauce reduce. All right, I'm just using 2 forks. And we're just going to pull the meat and shred it. You know what would be faster? I bet you if I used my KitchenAid stand mixer, it would just pull everything apart. All right, I'm canceling it now. Okay, I'm gonna pour this into the pork to moisten it a bit, just like you would a barbecue sauce. And I just let it go on for as long as it took me to shred the pork, so like maybe 5 minutes. All right, and I'm just gonna mix it up. You can add as little or as much of the sauce as you want. You're not gonna need all of it. Oh my goodness, it looks and it smells so good. We're serving it with a bowl of rice today. It's just, you know, Flo, how much can you get with a fork? But with 2 forks.
Wow, look at that.
And I made some Asian pickled cucumbers. And we're just going to serve this with. And you can find the recipe in the card above my head, or it's also in my Chinese homestyle cookbook. And there you have it, Asian pulled pork. Are you all ready for?
Yup.
The taste. This might look like your average pulled pork, but it is not. Asian flavors. Oh, salt, acid, fat, heat. I love the contrast of a pickled sauce or something that's acidic along with the other flavors. That's right, Kaya. You are correct. And we do use this pulled pork in a number of delivery vehicles. We have rice, good old rice. We have tortillas, we have baos and buns. The possibilities are almost endless. Don't go too crazy, guys. All right. Gonna get in here. The pork is moist, just enough of that liquid. Cooked so nicely. Fat is rendered. A little bit of sweet. Pair that up with a pickled sauce. Crunch, texture, flavor, so good.
Awesome, thanks, dude.
Yup.
Again, as Dude mentioned, there are so many ways to eat this. I hope you will enjoy it with whatever you choose to put it on. For more simple Asian flavors, check it out, and I will see you over there.